2024, February 7th. This video is an analysis of anarchy, not from a moral standpoint, but from a stability, sustainability standpoints, and what is its future in every one of the instances in which it existed or will exist. So, in an anarchy, we do not have a central government. So there is no centralized armed force. There is no, therefore, entities that have centralized armed forces, such as other external states or criminal organizations or tribes or whatever centralized organizations that there are, can take over on an anarchical territory and society, because it cannot defend itself as efficiently and as strong as its opposing, be it internal or external centralized forces that will either come from outside it or from within it. So, and even if these forces do not exist around or within the anarchical territory and society, they can manifest. They can start to exist. What prevents them? The anarchy has no centralized government and armed forces to enforce itself. Yes, there can be some resistance to these centralized forces. There can be, but even if it is an armed anarchy in which the people are armed, they can only be armed with light firearms. So a centralized entity can have heavier weapons, such as tanks and airplanes, helicopters, whatever. Centralized entities can also have the industry that anarchy may not have. Industry can exist, supposedly. Suppose that such heavy military industry can exist in an anarchy for a long period of time, which I doubt it, but let's suppose that it can exist. Who will be able to buy its products? Which families will be able to buy complete tanks and or helicopters or jets and be able to operate them, to have the logistics for them, to store them, even to fix them, to maintain them, to fuel them? You need logistics for it. One family cannot cannot do it unless it is a tribe, and then it can. Then it can barely do so. So centralized entities are able to take control forcefully over an anarchy. So the anarchy is at a disadvantage. So it cannot last for as long as whatever form of centralized entity you want to compare it, no matter if it is monarchy, democracy, communism, social democracy, dictatorship, doesn't matter. Tribal patriarchy, doesn't matter. If it is centralized, it will, or a crime organization, it will take over an anarchy. It is just a matter of time. And this is why, if you believe in anarchy, even if you will get your wish, you will not be able to sustain it for long. The types of government that will take over the anarchy that you will get, if you will ever get it, may be worse than the government which you wanted to dethrone in order to get your anarchy. So you just cannot, it is hard to get it, and it is even harder to maintain it. I don't know, maybe it is harder to get it and hard to maintain it, but whatever, you cannot maintain it. So I guess I get for long enough time, forever. So I guess it is easier to get to anarchy than to maintain it. But then just watch the world. In which territories do you have anarchy now? And so you get your answer. It barely exists anywhere. Even where it exists, it is only allowed to exist because in a few places the governments that surround it simply do not see to be worse enough to take control over it. I don't know, maybe it is a poor area and the government can leave it to deal with itself. It is not worth the bother. I don't know. But if an entity, a centralized entity, wants to take control over an anarchy, it will more likely succeed than not. There can be rare, extraordinary occurrences in which the anarchy prevails, but as you can see from the world, it just barely exists anywhere, and even where it exists, it is only so because it is allowed to exist. So you get your experimental evidence that I am correct, but I also gave you the military stability explanations, reasons to why it is not sustainable and stable.